I wasn't supposed to be invited. Her boss had sent an invitation to employees and their guests, and she had added me without asking. At first, I thought it was harmless, a chance to meet her co-workers, network, and maybe even enjoy a night out. But I didn't know it would turn into the night that made me realize everything had changed. The party was in a high-rise apartment downtown. Glass walls, sparkling lights, the kind of place where the champagne flows freely and people pretend their lives are perfect. I followed her in, trying to keep a polite smile on my face. She was wearing a dress that hugged her perfectly, the one she had saved for special occasions, and she looked radiant. At first, things were fine. Small talk with her co-workers, a few handshakes, polite introductions. I kept my tone light, my smile easy. But then it started. The glances, the whispers, the way she shifted slightly when I walked into a room, the way she answered questions with an air of separation, like I wasn't even there. I thought maybe I was imagining it. But then it happened. Her boss approached us, and she introduced me. "This is my guest," she said. "He's just here with me tonight." Just a guest. I froze, not even my name, not even a hint of the life we shared, just my guest. I nodded politely, but my stomach twisted. I could feel the blood rushing to my face. Every inch of me wanted to confront her, to shout, to demand respect, but I didn't. I took a deep breath and stayed quiet. The night continued, and it only got worse. She laughed with other men, leaned closer to her co-workers, made jokes that weren't for me, and when I tried to talk to her, she responded with short, clipped answers, her eyes darting away to someone else. Every interaction was a reminder. In front of these people, I didn't exist. Not as her husband, not as the man who had supported her, not as the one who loved her unconditionally. I felt the familiar sting of betrayal, the quiet, deep ache that comes from being erased from someone's life in the most public way imaginable. I realized in that moment that I had two choices: stay and suffer silently, or leave and reclaim some shred of dignity. I chose the latter. I excused myself politely, telling her I needed some air, and walked out of the apartment. The city night wrapped around me, cold and clean. I could hear the distant music and laughter fading behind me, but I didn't look back. On the street, I leaned against a lamppost, letting my body relax for the first time that night. I could still feel the embarrassment, the hurt, the shock, but I also felt something else: relief. I didn't need to be validated by her in front of others. I didn't need to sit there while she erased my presence. I could leave. I could walk away with my head held high. I thought about all the times I had ignored red flags. The late nights, the secret calls, the subtle hints that something wasn't right. Maybe she had been seeing someone else. Maybe she had already started emotionally checking out months ago. It didn't matter now. What mattered was that I refused to participate in the performance of pretending everything was fine, while she humiliated me in front of strangers. I found a small bench a few blocks away and sat down, taking in the night air. My phone buzzed in my pocket, her name on the screen. But I didn't answer. Not yet. I realized something crucial in that quiet moment. The power she thought she had over me, through embarrassment, neglect, or betrayal, was gone. She could act like I didn't exist, but I could exist for myself. I could honor my own worth. I decided then and there that I wouldn't let her actions define me. I wouldn't beg for attention, plead for acknowledgement, or demand respect from someone who had clearly stopped giving it freely. The next day, I didn't call her. I didn't ask questions. I didn't try to make sense of what happened at the party. I simply lived, went to work, exercised, ate breakfast without thinking about her smile or her laughter with others. Days turned into weeks, and I felt lighter with each passing moment. I realized that leaving the party was the first step in reclaiming my life. The night she erased me had been the night I erased her hold over me. I didn't know what she thought when I left. Maybe she didn't notice. Maybe she assumed I'd sulked somewhere and eventually returned. Maybe she felt nothing. But it didn't matter. I had walked away. And for the first time in months, I felt like myself again. Eventually, we separated. The decision had been mutual in the end, though it was clear who had initiated the process. I wasn't bitter. I was resolute. I knew my worth, and I refused to let anyone diminish it again, not even her. I think about that night sometimes, the party in the high-rise apartment where she acted like I didn't exist, and I smile. Because that night, I realized the most important lesson of all. You don't need anyone's validation to know your value. You don't need recognition to honor your own life. And sometimes, walking away is the strongest statement you can make.